Shalom, giving our praises, honor, glory, and worship to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and greetings and salutations to you, Akim, upon testimony of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. I'm sure if you've not known, you certainly should know now that the Taliban has taken back control of Afghanistan as the U.S. military retreats from its citadel, Kabul, in which Kabul has been overrun, but the U.S. still is retreating. They have a small little, base at the airport, a small little section of the airport where they're retreating from and evacuating from. But the angle in which I want to discuss this scenario and this circumstance is from the angle that is spoken of in the title of this article, this is RT News, but this article is entitled "The Only Truth About U.S. Disastrous Afghanistan War is that it was all based on lies." And that's not only the Afghan war, but everything about America, America's very conception, foundation, and claim to legitimacy is based upon lies, falsehood. All right. It says the stunning victory of the Taliban over the U.S.-backed Afghan government raises more questions than it answers as to how this happened. In the search for answers, however, don't ask the generals who fought the war. They all lied. Let me begin with full disclosure. I have never set foot in Afghanistan. I have zero skin equity in this current debacle. I have lost very close friends to the conflict that tore that country apart these past 20 years, and I do mourn their loss. What I lack in the on-ground war-fighting resume entries, however, is somewhat contemplated by a more intellectual-based approach toward the conflict in Afghanistan. As a historian, I have studied the tribes of Afghanistan, especially their penchant for conflict against ruling authorities, which deviates from what they expect from their leaders. My specialty was and is the Basmaki residence to Soviet authority in the 1920s, 1930s. More specifically, my studies focused on those elements of Basmaki which settled in Kabul in northern Afghanistan and who helped overthrow the Afghan king and later were defeated by a Pashtun tribal army. And that Pashtun tribal army is the Taliban. So you got to deal with Afghanistan, this nation rising up against nation because these different tribes, there's different ethnic groups in Afghanistan. Let me see. I want him to get to the point. Let me see. This is a heavy title for this article. Like the Berlin Wall or the Twin Towers, footage of fleeing Afghans abandoned by U.S. Abandoned. They were abandoned by America. Woe unto you that put your trust in man. So the next time you want to put your trust in this man to take the Vanessa, take his thing, woe unto you that put your trust in man. Next time you want to rely on his government system and his political system to stay afloat, so you can make money, so you can be comfortable, so you can do the necessaries for your life, so you can, so on and so forth. Woe unto you that put your trust in man, because these men who claim to be God are not God, but mere mortals. It said marks an end to an era for American supremacy. America has fallen from her grace, man. Many, bro. If you can receive it. Many. All right. And I'm actually going to get some scriptures because the information or the inspiration from this article comes from that term, as you can see, based on lies, because America is based on lies. All right. From its conception from the Roman Empire, it was based on lies. Matter of fact, let's get that in 2nd Ezra, the 11th chapter. 2nd Ezra, the 11th chapter. Now, this is speaking of the Roman Empire, the ancient pagan Roman Empire. But America is the revival of the Roman Empire. America in the NATO. That's why America was not the only nation in Afghanistan. It was a NATO-led, American-led NATO coalition with the NATO countries as well, serving as military mercenaries, because this is the revival of the Roman Empire. NATO and America is the revival of the Roman Empire, pursuing the book of Revelations. When you deal about the 7 heads and the 10 horns, all right? It says, but this is regard of the lies and the deception of America. This is this speaking about the Roman Empire, but America is the revival of the Roman Empire. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 11, verse 41. And this is biblical prophecy, by the way. This was written during the time of the Persians, far before the Roman Empire was even conceived or came to its preeminence. So it's prophecy. Verse 41, for the earth hast thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, which the meek is really going to the Israelites. But even when you look at these people, these Afghanis, they're meek in the sense of poor as well. These people are poor like Israelites are poor. All right. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable. All right. Which, let's deal with the conception of America. The North American Indians. Were they not at peace with the Americans? Did they not sign multiple treaties with them? Did they not teach them cultivation methods at their arrival? Did they not feed them? Did they not show them the way of the land? And what did America do? They stabbed them in the back, just like they stabbed the Afghanis in the back. And that's what you get for trusting in this devil. All of you heathens, that's what you get for trusting in the so-called white man. Whether you trust in a Russian, whether you trust in some Turks, or whether you trust in the Americans, which the Americans are the worst, or you trust in the Europeans, you are trusting in Esau, Edom, the devil, man. All right, and it's a price to pay. It says thou hast loved liars. Look, and Joe Biden is a liar. President George Bush Sr. and the son of George Bush, all right, is a liar. Okay. The CIA is a liar. The FBI is a liar. All of these people are liars, man. These people are they epitomize lying, man. The Twin Towers, which they lied about the Twin Towers. They lied. They did that themselves and then blamed it on some Al-Qaeda affiliated members who would not have the intellect, capability, or willpower to, I don't know about willpower, but they would not have been able to pull off such a miraculous triumph, or may I say such a miraculous mission to hijack a plane in midair. And in the midst of hijacking, flying into the coordinates of Chief Building in New York. How do they even know where the hell they are? These people, I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. There's plenty of evidence come out showing that was a fraudulent event and a false flag. But the point is, they're liars. The point is, they're liars. They needed to go to Afghanistan to kill Osama bin Laden. Lies. It was a plan for them to topple 7 prominent nations of the Middle East. Afghanistan was one of them, so they can establish the Greater Israel project, which is Israel's desire to have dominion over all those lands. So again, lies. They say they worry about the woman, the rights of they don't care about the rights of no goddamn woman. Ain't nobody spending trillions of dollars for the rights of some woman. Nobody give a damn. Nobody gives a damn about that. Because what? Look at their greatest ally in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. They don't. The Arabs, or the Saudis, they don't have quote unquote Western status quo or Westernized methods of dealing with women. They women couldn't even drive for the longest. But America says about them fighting for women. Well, but Saudi Arabia, you're not speaking to them about that because it's in your interest to be allied with them. Because you're a liar. You're a hypocrite. He says, thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwelling of them that brought forth fruit, which that's going into the Native American Indians. You destroyed the dwelling of America. You destroyed their landmass. The North and South American Indians who the Israelites according to the Bible. He has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. All right, and that's exactly what Esau Edom has done, man. Let me see. Let's get there. Verse 43. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty, which is Yahweh. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and that's pursuing the what? Obadiah, the first chapter. It says, though I exalt thyself as the eagle and set thy nest amongst the stars. America's the greatest country on earth. Having the top military supremacy and technology, which the reason why they were able to defend or fight against the Taliban so efficiently is because of their air support. If what you saw, a premier reason, the reasoning behind American dominance in warfare, and American dominance in Afghanistan was because of their air support. They would not have been able to fight off all those Taliban warriors without air support. They would have. You see what took place? They took away their air reconnaissance and their air support. Those the Afghan army folded like a lawn chair, man. Because those are the goodies of America, man. And that's not going to profit America in these hours. You see, it's not profiting her. All right. So that's the proud times, and behold, they are ended. Ooh, and his abominations are fulfilled. Right, and that's why it says, "Though I exalt thyself as the eagle and set thy nest amongst the stars, then shall I bring thee down. And he started bringing down in 69 in the Vietnam War. Saigon was the iconic image of the helicopter that was once ascended into heaven that had to descend down to get fleeing Americans from the citadel of Saigon. And we saw a like manner of the same circumstances of those helicopters and another generation 50 years later seeking to desperately get out get some Americans out of Kabul. Not even in the airport. They were pushed out of their embassy, man. The embassy, the whole American embassy has fallen to the Taliban. Has fallen. It was worse than Saigon. At least in Saigon, they were fleeing from the embassy. All right, these people couldn't even leave from the embassy, man. America's through. America is done, man. It says, America is done, man. All right. Let's went in some. This is a good one. Psalm chapter 10, verse 6. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And in 2001, that's what America said. In the 1960s, when they went to war in the Gulf of Tonkin and they went to war with Vietnam, that's what they said. But they have fallen from their grace. The only other military campaign, a major military campaign that America will exercise at this point is the military campaign of the Third World War. And there she shall be checkmated and destroyed by fire according to biblical prophecy. Verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So that's what he speaks. He hides mischief behind, when it says that behind the words that Esau speaks, all this prosperity, America stands with our allies. America don't stand with their allies. America runs when America's agenda shifts just a tad bit. Look what the hell America do. They forsake their allies. Those Afghanis that aligned themselves with the mentality, the philosophy, and the deeds of America were forsaken, bro. They were forsaken. Look at this, man. They trying to run. They trying to hold on to the plane. These niggas were forsaken by America. I like that. This is a good one right here. Woo! By the way of this introduction, I offered the following assessment of an unfolding situation confronted by the United States and Afghanistan today. We lost. Let's go, man. This is Yapa. It says, blame the generals, blame the troops, blame the spies, blame the diplomats, blame the politicians, blame the American people, but most importantly, blame the generals. Let me explain. And which, no, you don't blame the generals most importantly. You blame the ruler, because the position in which you blame the commander in chief. Who sent America? Them generals didn't send America to invade Afghanistan. George Bush did. You understand? All those generations of American Afghanistan. Who has the power to bring them home? The commander-in-chief, who's been benefiting off the poppy seed, because the reason why you were there is to maintain natural resources, to maintain those poppy fields, so you can grow the poppy seeds yourself and sell the poppies and make them into heroin. All right? That's why America was there. America was there to keep that region destabilized. America wanted that region, wants that region destabilized so that they can more easily influence it instead of having centralized powers, which is hard to come up against centralized powers. You understand? And America's about to start bombing Afghanistan indiscriminately. They're going to lie. They're going to come up with some lie, and they're going to use that lie to bomb their enemies indiscriminately. And guess what? This is going to bring all the nations of the earth to start hating America to the point of rising up and coming together and fighting against America. All the nations of the earth are going to come together and come against this whore. All right? Because look how she acts. Look at her conduct. You know, look at her. Taliban has taken control. This is amazing, to be honest. And for those who say, why do they have American weaponry? Well, Afghanistan was funded by the Americans. You know, Afghanistan was funded by the Americans. They completely took over Afghanistan. Without most of the city provincial provinces were conquered without a fight. So this is the reason why Taliban is this own entity. America might have their own agenda and how they deal with them, but Taliban is not an American proxy. You know, like ISIS. ISIS is an actual proxy that's funded, and the decision making of ISIS is based upon what America says because America funds them. That's why, and all that stuff that was taking place in the Middle East, when ISIS was taking over and attacking those different proximities and different districts, none of them ISIS forces came and attacked Saudi Arabia, and none of them attacked Israel. Why? Because Saudi Arabia and Israel fund ISIS. They control them. All right, but they attacked everywhere else. They tried to attack Iran. They attacked all of the Middle East, but they not going. They attacked Africa. They skipped over Iran and Israel and attacked Africa. That's because these people are liars, man. They talking about with Russian help, China quickly replacing U.S. as world's most important country. Damn, America is falling from grace. This is crazy. Oh, shit. The entire Afghan conflict must be examined considering this reality. Everything is a lie. Every battle, every campaign, every contract written and implemented, everything was founded in a lie. This is embarrassing. This is shameful to America, man. These people should be ashamed of themselves. Look at them fleeing from Afghanistan with their tails tucked like an injured dog, man. They fleeing because they fell from their grace. They are not America is not the American empire of the 1950s, of the 1960s, of the 1970s, of the 1980s, of the 1990s, of the early 2000s. It's a far different empire, especially from the 50s. That was the peak. The 50s, mid 60s, when they went to Vietnam, that was really the peak, because at the beginning it wasn't necessarily so bad. Really, the decline of the American empire took place in 1969, in the midst and during the Vietnam War. All right, and that's pursuing the biblical prophecy, the 350-year period from Revelations the 11th chapter. Also, you have in the book of Daniel the 42-month period, 42 divided by 12, which you'll get that 3.5, which is also a 350-year period, which is symbolic of the period of 1619 to 1969. And that also shows the legitimacy of Abba Bivens as being a prophetic figure, being the Elijah to come, which a lot of you people don't even know who he is. But nevertheless, Abba Bivens is the founder. He's basically the founder of Hebrew Israelite doctrine or philosophy in America. Okay, you had other Israelite groups other than One West, but the real Israelite, the push for Israel came out of One West. People know about the Israelites because of One West Israelites, not because those other guys that be, up in some Yisrael, the Church of Yisrael, 7K, somewhere in some little building connected to the flea market, having Sabbath service. You know what I'm saying? These guys have not pushed the truth. They don't know the Bible. Even most of these guys in One West, they don't know the Bible. ISBK, they are waxing worse and worse, bro. IUIC, all these, the only true camp, the only true teachers are men of Great Millstone at this point. That's the truth. That's just the truth, man. We hate to say it, but that's the truth. Shikari waxing worse and worse. You know, all these camps are waxing worse and worse. You know? But yeah, the United States had fallen from her grace, man. It had fallen from her grace. All right? Let me see. I'm going to finish it off with Job. I think that's Job 15, 20. Let me see. It might be. Yeah, Job 20 and 5. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 5. Verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? All right? So your triumphing was short, man. You had your little time of 5 minutes, 15 minutes of fame, and that's nothing in the face of eternity. All right? It says, though his excellent mount up to the heavens, going back to you exalting yourself in the heavens, full circle. It said, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet shall he perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? All right. And that's what people are going to say about America. Where is America? It's going to be wiped off the earth by Russia, by China, by Iran, by the NATO forces that have nuclear capabilities. India, all these nations. But with them, give all praises, honor, glory, and worship to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, keep faith.